want to start to put a little bit more emphasis on knives from now on my channel. Now, I typically tend to do action reviews, and I mostly avoid more theoretical aspects of gadgets as far as possible. What matters to me is the wear and tear aspects. How do those things hold up under real world conditions and abuse and over time? Now, I know how to beat on a knife, but I'm no expert on the intricacies of knife design, and I also don't feel a strong pull towards high-end knives. What matters to me is the real world value, how practical those things are. Now, today I won't do any testing. I just want to show you a few so-called rescue knives. My knives have not rescued anyone yet, but I still can share a few experiences on them, because it's an interesting category of knife. You find a lot of these knives if you go knife shopping. Now, these knives typically come with glass breaker. Here in the Crkt, the glass breaker is most emphasized right here. This one, the SOG, has a small glass breaker, and even the cheap Harnds Conch comes with its own glass breaker. Also, they have a seatbelt cutter. The Harnds Conch has one here. The SOG doesn't come with its own seatbelt cutter. What the heck? The SOG does not come with its own seatbelt. Okay, the SOG does not come with its own seatbelt. What? No way! This is a great takeout. Take me out. Just, it was a long day, anyways. So the SOG does not have its own seatbelt cutter. Instead, it uses the main blade, which is rested as the seatbelt cutter. The Crkt has its seatbelt cutter integrated into the flipper tab right here. So 3 different design approaches to the seatbelt cutter, but every one of those knives has one. So those 3 aspects seem to make for a rescue knife, or at least for something that is sold under the label rescue knife. Now, I've used the Harnds Conch since, about a year. It was sent to me by Stefan from the channel A Little Older. And at first it didn't look very exciting. It just looked like a cheap little knife, and plastic handle. The shape is a little bit awkward, and it's kind of light on the light side. The way the clip goes, I don't know. But then I started using the knife, and it is really handy. Some kind of 440 steel, some stainless steel. Oh, it says HCR 14 MOV. Anyways, the steel needs resharpening from time to time, but it's easily done with all of these stainless steels. You just need the Victorinox tool. Now, the Harnds Conch actually is very ergonomic, despite its odd shape. I wear large gloves, so as a small everyday carry knife, this is already a great knife. And well, for $10 to $15, you cannot go wrong. It also is a really great flipper. It runs on washers, but it flips wonderfully. So this is the Harnds Conch. Then step up is the Sog Trident Elite. Yeah, it's something that is sold more basically geared towards military and police. So there's a big price markup. Also, the design of this is really beautiful. The ergonomics are good. It's a very light knife. It's an assisted opener, so it's spring assisted. It is 100% reliable. What I don't like about this knife is that the blade has a little bit of play. Not laterally, but it goes a little bit up and down. To me, that's a little bit cheapish. I contacted SG about that problem. They wanted to do something about it, but then shipping costs and whatever, I didn't care. I didn't want to go through that process. Now, it is a very nice knife, but $80, that was what I paid back then, a year ago in the States. That's a little bit hefty. I guess you can get better knives for that price. But this has its own, very own design approach. And if you collapse the blade and you arrest it, now it's completely arrested, it will never deploy. And now you have a stable seatbelt cutter. Oh my word. And then we have the Crkt. It says Columbia River Knives and Tools M16-14ZLEK. Anyways, this is a really great knife. It's a Tanto style blade. I've worked a little bit with this knife the last few days. I have EDC'd it, and I must say the ergonomics in this, they're just a dream. It's such a hard use knife. It's so stable. It feels great in your hand. It really feels like you could actually penetrate metal sheets and just tear them open. And it comes with the auto lock system, so the blade is not completely arrested. It's called a virtual fixed blade, but it is just a ordinary liner lock that is arrested by this little additional lock. So you have to push that back, and then you can disengage the liner lock. That's all it is. It's a very large blade, and it runs perfectly smooth. So it's really wonderful to play with this knife. Now I will do an action test and review on this knife. I hope I get that done next week, so I will really do hard testing on this one, because this is a $100 knife, or at least in Europe it's like 100 to 200 euros. I get it for way less. I bought it used, so I will do hard testing. I know that the auto lock system and the whole design, now the Triad-Lock, for example, by Cold Steel, made by Cold Steel, is more stable, or is stronger than this type of lock system. I know it's a heavy use knife, but still kind of on the light side, but it should be able to do really hard tasks. So I try to do some trials on it next week. So till then, stay tuned if you want to see the Crkt review, and I hope you join the channel. Comment down below, share your experience, because knives are really a nice hobby besides flashlights and outdoors and nature and everything else. This was Wear and Tear, over and out.